You say you want purpose, meaning a mission. You've tried goals, habits, self-help books, but still, you feel stuck, empty, drifting. The truth is hard to face. You may be sabotaging your own purpose. Not because you're lazy, not because you're weak, but because there's something inside you that you refuse to see. Carl Jung had a word for it, the shadow. And unless you confront it, you'll chase your purpose forever and never catch it. Let's open the Codex and see what you've been hiding from yourself. Your shadow is everything you don't want to be, everything you've disowned, denied, suppressed. You weren't born broken. You were taught to hide parts of yourself: anger, lust, confidence, ambition, sadness, pride. You buried them to be accepted, to be safe, to be loved. But the parts you hide don't disappear. They wait in the dark corners of your mind until one day they rise. And when they do, they don't ask for permission. They emerge through jealousy, through sabotage, through sudden, unexplained anger. The shadow is not just the bad within you. It's the truth you're afraid of. And until you face it, it will rule you silently, constantly. You think it's bad luck. You think you just need more motivation. You think your goals aren't big enough. But none of that matters if your shadow is holding the steering wheel. Here's how it works. You set a goal, and then you procrastinate. You want love, but you sabotage every relationship. You crave success, but panic the second it arrives. Why? Because deep down, you don't believe you deserve it. Or you're afraid of what it would mean to actually change. Your shadow wants comfort, not growth. It wants safety, not greatness. And until you bring it into the light, it will quietly destroy everything you build. Worse still, it doesn't just stop you from moving forward. It convinces you to retreat, to settle, to rationalize why things didn't work out. It whispers, "You're not ready. You don't have what it takes. Better play it safe." And the most tragic part, you believe it. How do you know your shadow is active? Look at what you hate in others. Look at the patterns you repeat. Look at what triggers you most. That anger, that jealousy, that shame. They're not enemies, they're messengers. Every emotion you suppress becomes a chain. Every chain becomes a pattern. And every pattern becomes your prison. But here's the key. If you can name it, you can face it. You might say, "I just attract toxic people." But maybe you're attracted to the chaos you haven't resolved in yourself. You might say, "I can't commit." But maybe commitment threatens the part of you still afraid to be seen. Carl Jung said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Your triggers are your trailheads. Follow them. They lead to the shadow. Carl Jung didn't say, "Destroy your shadow." He said, "Make it conscious." That means admit your fear, own your ambition, forgive your anger. When you accept the parts you've exiled, they become your allies. Anger becomes boundaries, lust becomes passion, pride becomes self-respect. This is integration, not perfection, but wholeness. And wholeness, that's where your purpose lives. When you are whole, you no longer chase purpose. You radiate it. You become magnetic, not because you're pretending to be someone new, but because you're finally being who you really are. The shadow was never your enemy. It was your potential, waiting for permission. If you feel lost, it's not because you have no purpose. It's because part of you is blocking the path. The version of you that wants to stay small, to stay safe, to avoid pain. But listen closely. The life you want is on the other side of everything you're afraid to feel, and you don't find purpose. You reclaim it, not by reading more books, but by looking in the mirror and saying, "This is all of me, even the parts I hate, and I will not run from myself any longer." That is where the journey begins. Shadow work isn't a trend, it's an initiation. It's not always graceful, but it is powerful and necessary. You are not here to live half a life. You are not here to dim your light, to avoid your darkness. You are here to become whole, and the only way out is through. Wholeness isn't the end of the road, it's the beginning of a new one. When you stop running from the parts of yourself you once feared, you begin to live. Not in fragments, but in full. You stop performing, you stop pretending, and finally, you start becoming. People will feel it, not because you say the right words, but because your energy, your presence, your truth speaks louder than anything else. The world doesn't need another perfect mask. It needs your authentic soul. And when you lead from wholeness, you give others permission to do the same. This is the secret power of shadow work. It doesn't just change your life, it changes the lives around you. Your healing becomes your offering. The path to purpose is not linear. It spirals, it returns, and each time you meet a deeper version of yourself. You don't find your path by walking someone else's. You find it by walking into yourself. So ask yourself one last question. What would your life look like if you stopped hiding? If this spoke to you, then subscribe to the channel. Here, we don't chase trends, we dive into what's buried. Comment below. What part of your shadow are you ready to face? Until next time, stay brave and stay curious.